You can always let me know later in the day too. Okay. All right, cool. He did give me a message to give you though, but I'll wait for the show. You can always let me know. Okay. All right, cool.
What's going on, everybody? What's happening? What's shaking? What's doing? Welcome to episode 172 of MCRAE Live. The date today is Tuesday, May the 18th, 2021, 12:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're on the East Coast, 9:09 a.m. on the West Coast. I am coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. And today we are talking about, well, we're talking a bunch of things today. That's a little short. Let's try that one more time. We're talking Dylan's New Nightmare. You were wondering, what the hell's going on with Dylan's New Nightmare? Where is it? What the fuck is happening? Was it shot? Did this thing come out and bomb at the box office or something? What is going on? No. No, it hasn't been shot yet. We're going to talk to CECIL Laird, who is joining me. CECIL Laird from The Horror Show, of course, one of my favorite guests of all time. And CECIL and I will be talking Dylan's New Nightmare. It's me, Billy, and whatever happens to come down the pipe on today's show. So if you have any questions for CECIL in regards to Dylan's New Nightmare and Freddy Krueger or Miko Hughes or that production or whatever the case is, make sure you think about that and get those juicy thoughts into your brain right now. CECIL, welcome to the program. It is great to have you here, my man.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Thank you for having me back on again. Although I'm not sure about that juicy thoughts lead in.
I know.
A little slightly questionable, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. We were kind of there. We went live. People would, hey, Vince wants to know if you're available tonight. I'm like, I don't know. And well, whatever. It's not like we said anything bad. Like, the chat room's a piece of shit. Fucking hate that chat room. Oh shit. Oh no.
No, we make sure we're muted when we say that.
That's right. Exactly. Hey, it happens. What are you gonna do?
I think I did that last time too. Like last time I was on, I think like one or two of my words got on. I was like, okay, I'll be quiet. Just as it started. I was like, God damn it. I false start every time.
That's it. Man, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. I am, it's busy. It's a busy time for both of us right now. I'm at the tail end of, I'm in nervous mode, right? It's kind of like, well, this is it. Now this is a bit of an exaggeration, but I can certainly understand now why Steven Spielberg and George Lucas go to Hawaii for vacations when they release their movie. Maybe not anymore, but years ago, of course, there was that famous story about how when Lucas was on the cusp of releasing Star Wars, of course, he was nervous beyond belief, understandably so. It was not a perfect production by any means. And I believe the story is, I stand to be correct, of course, they were very good friends, best friends, and they went to Hawaii for a vacation, and it was on the beach in Hawaii, so the story goes, that Spielberg had confided in Lucas about how he always wanted to direct a James Bond movie, and Lucas turned to him and was like, well, I got something better than that. I got fucking Indiana Smith. Yeah, that's right. His name was Indiana Smith at first. And then, of course, the rest is history. But a lot of filmmakers, it's not unprecedented that they will kind of just check out, leave, and they don't want to hear any news. You know what I mean? They don't want to know. And then, of course, Lucas found out that, yeah, not only was it a hit, it's a ginormous hit, which obviously would have been very a relief. So the internet didn't exist back then, of course, but anyway, so I'm kind of in there, and then you're sort of resetting now and getting back into the motion of things, which I'm a part of. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like I feel like I'm dipping. Well, I'm dipping from one into the other. I'll probably take a week off though, just to just to rejuvenate. But man, tell me. Dylan's New Nightmare, here we are. You're on the cusp of launching a new Indiegogo campaign, which makes sense because it's been a year and a half since the last one. for no fault of your own, COVID has ravished the world, of course, the US and Canada. I'm in Canada, so it's not like I can just, if this was 2 years ago, I'd be there in a heartbeat, no problem. But of course, the border issue has been a major problem. It looks like up here in Canada, they are now starting the process of negotiating a reopening of the border to non-essential travel. When and how that's going to happen, I don't know, but I did read that on CBC's website, which is encouraging. That's good. But you're launching a new Indiegogo campaign to sort of, make up kind of what we weren't able to get with the last one and other things, and get it out there again and sort of reestablish excitement again. Tell us about this. Where are you in the thought process? Where is production? People ask me all the time, and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not on that side of the production. I'm just Freddy Krueger in this. Cecil's the guy that has all the answers. Cecil, tell me what's going on.
Just real briefly before I get into that, when you said Indiana Smith, that hit my ear so wrong. I was like, why would anyone put the last name as like one of the most common names in the English language? Jones is so much. Oh, wait, Jones is that too.
Yeah, kind of in some ways, isn't it? But it's something about it that just sounds better than Smith.
Oh, it totally does. It doesn't sound like one of the most, regular names in the U.S., and yet they both are. But the other
let's be
thing,
honest, sorry, I just want to say that's thanks to Spielberg that was changed. If Lucas had his way, I mean, I love Lucas, but we probably would have Indiana Smith right now. I'm just saying.
That's true. Yeah, and he would be animated. To your point, or to that point, though, I will say that
true.
It's interesting to me if I put my little psychologist hat on. Yeah. You say, guys, I'm just so nervous. Here, let me compare myself to Spielberg and Lucas for a second.
No, I didn't. No, I was not comparing myself to Spielberg and Lucas.
It's just that them going on vacation during their releases is just the first thing that came to mind.
Hang on a second. It's just hang on a second here. I wasn't comparing myself. I was comparing the emotional sort of
those are the first two names that came to mind. I get it.
No, but there's somebody in the chat room who's gonna be watching this afterwards going, did you know McCrae thinks he's fucking Spielberg?
I'm just giving them some fodder for you.
I know. Thanks, Cecil. I appreciate that. Is this what the set's going to be like? Wonderful.
Oh, it's going to be a good time, right?
It will be. Yes.
All right. So, yes, Dylan's New Nightmare. So, you're exactly right. Everything you said is correct. We ran the last campaign, and we raised about 75% of the budget that we were looking for. Then, everything with COVID happened. Literally, we were scheduled to film in May of 2020, and everything pretty much went to shit in March and April of 2020.
That's right.
So we literally had to cancel. We had booked all of our locations. We had booked flights. We had booked everything, and we had to cancel all of it. Yeah. And then, everyone went into
I had my flight booked.
Yeah.
I had to cancel it. Yep.
So everything was ready to go. And then COVID happened and we couldn't do anything. And now we're in a situation where, in order to, at least in the US, right, because we haven't done things as cleanly as our better neighbors to the north have necessarily.
Well,
but nonetheless, it has left some extra expenses for us to have to overcome in order to actually film sooner rather than later. Yeah. So here's my thinking on it. My thinking was, we can continue to wait until everything is back to normal. Everyone's been vaccinated and we don't need to mask up or do any of those extra precautions. We can wait. Right. We can continue to wait. Might be another year. Or we can run a second campaign, try and get that remaining 25% of the budget we missed the first time, and if possible, a little bit extra to handle those extra costs that have arisen as a result of this current pandemic situation. So we're going to let the audience decide, really. I mean, if there's enough people that are, willing to chip in and stuff, that we can earn the extra money to film sooner, then we will film sooner. Correct. And if we earn even a little bit more, then we are going to deepen our post-production budget because there are a couple of effects that we're doing. Also deepen our gore effects budget, where we're going to let Nora have a lot more fun to play. A lot more room to play, a lot more fun with what she's doing. And it's funny because she might end up working with someone that I had considered for the project prior. So it's interesting that might end up happening anyway. I can't mention that because it's nowhere near a final thing, but it's—
Can you tell me off air?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking as far as the new campaign goes. Now, with that new campaign, I would love to have presented a new trailer or something, but obviously we never got to film anything. And so we don't have new video material to show you guys. So at the very least, I wanted to get a new poster going. And so that's what is in the thumbnail. Dave, do you have the ability to bring up the poster?
I can bring up the poster. Yeah, just give me 1 second here.
That'd be great. So this poster is going to be available as a part of the new campaign. And quite frankly, I think it might be my favorite poster that we've got, just because it feels the most like an actual film poster for the project. And I'm very happy with how it came out. The artist is Jeff West. And I imagine he's going to be a well-known artist in the not too distant future.
There we go. I'll cover my face instead of yours so you can talk about it. There we go.
But yeah, so this is obviously features Freddy. We have his face in shadow. Oh, wow, it's big. They can see Freddy's face. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you obviously have Freddy's face in shadow. You have a child version of Miko next to the grown-up version in the center. Obviously, he is the main component of the movie. And then we have our glove holding the damaged Rex, which, yes, did survive the end of New Nightmare. You know, if you watch closely, it looks like he's ripped Rex to shreds, but in actuality, it's just Rex, but he's had most of the stuffing ripped out. So he's still in one piece. He's still got the 4 slashes. It's just most of the stuffing's ripped out. So Rex has been salvaged for the film. I'm not going to tell you what capacity Rex, you know, what level of involvement Rex has in the film, but there are other things that we wanted to go ahead and let people know as far as the look of Freddy goes. We do intend to bring back the trench coat in some form. So we can go ahead and announce that.
You're announcing that.
Yes, but I won't say exactly what. It might not be exactly what you guys, you know, it might not be exactly the same as you remember.
Freddy's going to open up his jacket and there's going to be like heavy artillery inside.
No, that's a little too close to Columbine territory for us.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But yeah.
Shut up, Dave. Way to go, Dave. You're fired. You're fired.
But no,
you're fired.
And it might not be for the whole thing, but there is an aspect of the coat that is making a return. Cool. Again, I don't want to spoil too much, but people wanted the coat, and so we're going to make them happy. I believe we're going to make them happy. I think it's going to be something really cool for them. And then, like I said, we purposely left Freddy's face in shadow because we don't want to reveal what he looks like. He does not look the same as he did in New Nightmare. He is our own unique Freddy. So that is why I wanted to go ahead and you know, do a whole new poster. Again, I think that's a very filmish poster, and I'm very you know, excited to let people get their hands on one. And then there's another perk, Dave. Are you okay with us announcing the perk that you and I discussed?
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
So there's a new perk that Dave agreed to do, and it's funny because
naked.
Yeah, because Dave pointed something out to me after I suggested it, and he's like, "Do you think people would still actually want this?" And I'm like, "It's a fair point, but in today's day and age, with like they could use it different ways." So here's what I'm talking about, you guys.
Sure, you don't have to use it for what it's intended for now.
Exactly. So basically, what we're doing is we are going to be offering a limited amount of a single perk, where professional voice actor, I don't know if you guys know this, but Dave is a professional voice actor. He is willing to do messages for people as our Freddy. Now, this can be your voicemail. This can be you know, something that you want to leave an ex-girlfriend. This could be a podcast intro, a station ID for your YouTube channel. You could do any number of things, but we are going to do this, and you will be able to write it, obviously within approval reason. We can't have you have Freddy be
and a certain length,
a white supremacist guy. We're not going to allow that.
It can't be 5 minutes long.
Right, exactly. No, yeah, we're talking probably what, 60 seconds or less. You think that's fair?
Yeah, like 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Like
okay, yeah. Okay, we'll go 30. We're not going to put Dave out here again. No. Professional voice actor, something like that would run high amounts, and he is very graciously giving everyone a break on the cost for these particular backers.
And I don't see the cost, by the way. It goes to the campaign.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And that is very kind of him. And, you know, if we raise enough budget, then, you know, maybe we could toss him a little Finsky for it or something like that.
$5 is fine. Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's going to be a fun new perk that people can do. Again, it's going to be a limited perk, but that in and of itself would help the campaign if we sold those out. So every little bit helps. Indeed. And I'm excited about this. I'm trying to think of more, perks that we can put together as the thing goes on. I'm only planning on this being a 30-day campaign,
okay.
But we're setting the goal relatively low. Right. That way it can stay in demand over time, right, and stuff like that. Or at least that's the plan. So hopefully we'll be able to raise all that funds. And if we raise enough, the goal is to try and film in late September. Okay, that's the goal. Right. I don't know how achievable that is. Again, a lot of that depends on the situation with the U.S.-Canada border. Yep. So, as we've been waiting this entire time, that's
all my fault.
I wouldn't say that, but
no, it's out of my hands. It's out of my hands. It's like, God damn it, guys, come on.
Yeah, but nonetheless, it's everything's moving along. This campaign will only help speed things up. No one has to contribute if they don't want to. Everyone that contributed the first time, all of their perks are still going to happen. Obviously, there's only like 2 or 3 perks that we can get until the movie is done and until we've even filmed, right? Because there's a couple that are signed set picks. One of the perks, if you guys didn't know, we have a really cool perk that was added late in the game in the first campaign, where we're doing a promotional still photo where it is Dave as Freddy versus Ghost Jason, Vince playing Ghost Jason. So there is going to be a new Freddy versus Jason promotional pick that you can get through the campaign.
And it's perfect because Vince is what, 6'1" or 2? No, he's about your height. He's like 6'3" or something.
He's up there. He's 6'2", I think.
Yeah, he's 6'2" or 3. I'm 5'8". So I mean, it will look like it'll be perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. I'm excited to do that too, because ideally we'll have a big green screen to shoot it on, so we can kind of put you guys wherever we want to put you guys. Right. It's going to be a really cool little photo session, and we'll get some good behind the scenes to put on the Blu-ray and stuff like that. But
we should get Miko in there as like the ref, get like a referee. The white and black stripes or whatever, and he's in the middle, and he's got like a whistle or something. He's like, hang on, he's putting his hands up like.
That would be one way to go. It would probably lessen the scare factor of it.
It would. It's more cheeky. But
like I said, if we make a full photo shoot out of it, we can have different options.
That's true. I mean? That is true.
So now the other nice thing, again, I mentioned this briefly last time, but the added benefit, if you can turn the negative into a positive of the COVID situation, obviously not minimizing anything that's happened with that, but it has allowed us time to fine tune the film. Right. Because we had to delay, we did a whole group of sessions where we all sat down and went through the script. I think we did 3 different sessions where we went through a third of the film and just really went through it and tightened it up and made some changes and came up with some cool stuff. And it really is a so much stronger film as a result. And while I've been at home, I've been utilizing the time to try and study up and look at directing stuff and try and get better, as a director,
for sure,
by, amassing knowledge how I can, you know, from the internet right now.
For sure.
And that's all helping. And I have learned things in this last year and a half that are definitely going to aid in the quality of the film. And that's exciting for me.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that it's going to be exciting for you guys as well. Yes, Miko is still in it. Obviously that would be a tough thing to change at this point. But one of the things I wanted to bring up in regards to it, Dave, that I mentioned briefly ahead of time is now that, you know, obviously I knew I was going to have to try and live up to Vince's quality. But now I'm going to have to try and live up to the It's Me ability quality as well. And what I was going to say about it is, for a long time, I was thinking, okay, well, the presentation of Dylan's New Nightmare is going to be substantially different than the presentation of Never Hike Alone. That was, you know, a Jason movie is shot much, much differently than a Freddy movie is.
100%.
And even both of them are shot very differently than a Black Christmas movie would be.
100%.
However, if you had to liken two of the three to each other as far as, you know, studio-esque presentation, a studio style, right? Because I'm trying to get closer to Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which felt much more like a studio movie than the earlier Down and Dirty entries, right? And that's what I feel like It's Me Billy is going to come across as well, as a very high quality studio style movie. And by studio style, I just mean it ideally for me, I know for you, it looks like Hollywood made it. That's what I mean.
I appreciate that. That's a high praise, man. Thank you for saying that.
But that's the thing. Like, I was wanting to be first through the door to do that. Now you are, and now I have to live up to your quality and Vince's quality. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it does drive me to try and, like I said, continue to improve and plan really things where we can elevate even above. Like, I'm going to watch your movie and I'm gonna be like, okay, I see what he did.
Okay, that sucks.
I need to try and no, I see what he did. I need to try and do something, you know, I need to try and elevate again. Like, right. Yeah. That's my point. I wanted to try and elevate the presentation. You know, that's my goal. I'm not saying I could. I would never claim to say I'm talented enough to do something better than Vince or better than you. I just want to be able to make sure it's of that level. And if I can raise the bar, great. Obviously, Vince raised the bar. I feel like you're going to raise the bar. I would love to raise the bar too.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So it's annoying that I have to be third to do it, but it's driving all the same.
Third time's a charm. No, but you know what though is that what's really cool about this is that first of all, myself, you, and Vince were all friends, and then what's cool about that beyond that is myself, you, and Vince are all involved in Dylan's New Nightmare, right? So it's not like you're, you know, like that's really, you know, cool as well. I think the approach is we knew that, like, for us, it was about, you know, when Vince raised the bar with Never Hike Alone in terms of horror fan films. Now there are incredible looking studio level fan films in other genres. I mean, you can look at, you know, some of the Star Wars fan films. I mean, the higher caliber, you know, look spectacular. But in terms of the horror genre, yes, Vince definitely raised it. He raised his own bar when he did Never Hike in the Snow. And our approach to It's Me Billy was all about, if we, you know, that's where the bar is. Now you can go out there and you can make a, you know, just a fan film and, you know, do whatever you do and have fun. But we knew, working in the industry, we knew that we had the same resources and connections that Vince has, you know, from working in the industry in LA, we work in the industry here in Toronto. So we knew that we could utilize those connections and those resources. Of course, you still need a budget to do that, but we were able to do it. And then it came down to, we knew we wanted to shoot on either the Red or the Airy. And of course, our DP chose the Airy Alexa, which is great. And then we assembled a professional crew, and then it came down to all about, you know, story and tone and just, you know, just doing what we did, right? I mean, you could give you could have you know, the Airy, you could have the Red Epic, you could have the best equipment, the best people possible, but if you don't know how to use it, or you're not utilizing it and you're not prepared, it doesn't matter in the end, right? You can have the best piano in the world, but if you don't know how to play it, it's still going to sound like shit. So it really comes down to surrounding yourself with the right people, making those connections, and for, you know, for myself and Bruce, we were so prepared. We, you know, I tell people all the time, it's a fan film in subgenre. Yes, It's Me, Billy is a fan film. But if we were going to go out and make an original movie called, I don't know, Bob's Diner, right? Like something that's completely original, we would have gone through the exact same process. Hired the same people, shot on the same, you know, equipment. It's a movie. It's just happens to be a fan film. It's like, you know, Never Hike in the Snow is it's a movie. It's a short film. It just happens to be Friday the 13th fan. It just happens to be a fan film. Fan films have the connotation around, and understandably so, of being home movie amateur, right? Because the vast majority of them are. Now that's changing, and myself and you and Vince and others are changing that sort of stereotype. But there is that stereotype with it, fan film, because you hear it all the time, right? Wow, this doesn't look like a fan film. Well, what do you mean by that? What does a fan film look like, right? It doesn't look like a fan film. Well, it means it doesn't look like shit. I mean, I hate to say it, not shit.
That's what it boils down to, though.
Right,
I mean,
and
really.
That's a little harsh. I mean, certainly there are fan films that are not shot on the Epic or, you know, the Alexa or, you know, the Red, you know, whatever, that do still look really good. Obviously, I'm going to the extreme to make a point, but that's what it means, right? It's like years ago, and even ourselves here in Canada, we would say this about ourselves. We'd say, holy fuck, that movie looks so Canadian. You know, or holy shit, that TV show looks so Canadian. And we're not talking about oot and a boot and a, we're talking about the production value. We're talking about the cheesiness or, you know, whatever it is. Now, since then, over the last 25 or 30 years, the shit that Canada is dishing out can compete with anything that Hollywood is. But for a long time, there was that, oh my God, it looks so Canadian. Even here in Canada, we would say that. I don't know if that was a, you know, a States thing, probably not. But it's that kind of thing, right? Where you have to change how people feel about it, how people think about it, that fan films can be professional productions, you know, and it just so happens to be a fan film because it's a, you know, it's in this world. But how you're handling this, I mean, the process you're going through is the same thing that we've done. It's the same thing that, you know, Vince has done. You are handling this. It could be, yeah, it could be, you know, Dylan's New Nightmare, or it could be Bob's Diner. You would be going through the same thing. It's a professional production. And that's one of the things, you know, you talk about being prepared. Bruce and I were so prepared. I mean, down to the finest detail, you know what I mean? With the budget and the shot list and the script and the, you know, the call sheets and the everything, you know, putting people up and having, you know, and of course we had to follow, you know, the COVID protocols and, you know, procedures. And it was a legit, it was a small shoot. It was a small independent shoot, but it was a real shoot, you know, real, quote unquote, right? Because people think, oh, it's fan film, you know, you just go out there, you know, you just shoot. No, that's not when you're doing it like this, you know? And so my hat goes off to you for being diligent and being patient and being very understanding, of course, my situation here in Toronto. And it has only allowed you time to mold and to craft and to shape something that will no doubt, in my mind, I mean, you know, we're, you know, shooting on the Red as well. So, I mean, you know, it's that, you know, it's going to look good. And you've hired a great team, passionate about it, you know, and Vince is involved. And of course I'm playing Freddy, and that's exciting for me to be able to do I
honestly, if I could interrupt you real quick,
hit on I never shut
a little bit. No. Because I didn't want to forget about it. And I think this would be a fun diversion.
Yeah.
I'm taking over the show for a second, Dave.
Yeah. Go ahead. Take over.
I am so excited to see you as Freddy, because like it's going to be interesting. I just feel like you're the kind of guy that's just going to enjoy being in his skin.
Oh, 100%.
And you're gonna, you know, you'll have fun with it. I'm not picturing you as necessarily a set prankster going, you know.
No.
I'm picturing you as,
I'm not method. I'm not going to sleep in it.
No, no, but I picture you as enjoying it and, you know, really just going for it and embodying the character in such a fun way. Although, you know, early on, after all of our script meetings and stuff like that, because I want to reveal you at a particular point in the movie. And this also briefly goes to a point, I think Corey asked earlier, am I going to keep Freddy in the shadows, or am I going to ever reveal him? We're going to reveal him in the movie. Obviously, we're not going to reveal him in any promo materials ahead of time, but there's an opening scene, and it's you know, God, how much do I want to spoil?
Is it the one? Is it the one? It's obviously you can say who's in it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Well, it's the opening scene is Miko centric, obviously, and there is a Freddy appearance at some point.
Right.
But I was gonna do the reveal there, and now we're probably not.
The reveal there in the movie, or the reveal there in a promo image?
No, in the movie.
In the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I have to try and think of how we're going to shoot it and do like the clever only glimpses of you stuff.
Right.
Which, when you consider the actual scene itself,
yes,
it's very mano a mano, and it's going to be hard to do that. But we're gonna be clever. We're gonna figure out a way to do it, and it's going to lead to an outstanding marketing image from that scene.
Yes, it will.
So I can't wait for that. And so that image we'll have to tweak, or no, we'll just have to, because again, you're not full reveal for that marketing image. So we'll probably be able to take just a nice screenshot, and that'll be, you know which one I'm talking about. I'm talking about this one.
Yep.
It's going to be so fucking cool. I can't wait for that image. I can't wait for that scene. But as we get nearer and nearer, again, if we earn enough with this campaign, I want to hire someone just to handle that one specific visual effect and shot setup, because I want to make sure that comes off clean, because we can't have a great movie with one janky effect in it. I just won't allow for that. We're going to shoot around as well, just so we have a backup in case the effect doesn't come through. But I really would love if we could earn a little bit extra with this campaign, and I could hire the right person to actually help do this right. And I have an idea of who to approach, but it wouldn't be cheap. So I want to make sure that we can do it, because God, if we can pull that off right, it's going to be dope. The whole thing will be dope if we can pull that off right, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited, dude. Like I've said, a million times. I mean, it's when you put on that makeup and you become Freddy. I mean, I'm a very animated person, so I love, I'm going to lose myself in that, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see yourself come to life in that makeup and embody that character, and it's just going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun to become that character, and because you're going to feel more like him when you put on the sweater and the glove and the hat and the makeup and everything that Nora's doing, which is going to be amazing. I've seen the mold, and I mean, it looks fantastic. I
can't wait to see it in actual action.
Yeah, like it's going to be so cool. It's going to be so cool, and it's going to be a really neat experience. It's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll be able to dish out something that is really good. And I think we will. There's a lot of talent involved. There's a lot of passion involved, and I have very little doubt that we're going to turn out something that is going to be pretty special. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's a really cool. There's a lot of pressure, but but again, my goal is not to go in there and do a Robert Englund impression. My goal is just to do, I want to still bring my own to it, and because that's how you allow, because if you start doing a Robert Englund impression, you're going to fail, or it's going to look too much like cosplay or something. You want to be able to bring your own stance to it, but you bring the essence of Freddy there. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And of course, I'll have a really good, guy on set to assess that in Miko Hughes, who will be able to be like, no, that's it. And
I mean, and I'll call your shit too, man. I mean, like, I know what Freddy should be like.
That's true. That is true. That is. It's my eighth fail of the day.
I'm just giving you shit.
I know. No, but you're right though. You're right. And it's, you know, it's just going to be cool to be able to embody that and be in that and become that character. You know, it's going to be fun to do. And, you know, you let the chips fall where they may, you know, you put your best foot forward, you put it out there. And, you know, not everybody's going to agree with the creative decisions that you make, you know, but you have to be decisive and you have to, that's one thing that Bruce and I are very, you know, we know just by what it's like to release a movie, right? Is that, you know, there are going to be people that are going to love what we do. There are going to be people that are going to be maybe, oh, that's too bad they did that or whatever. Not everybody's going to agree with the creative decisions you make, but it's all about defending your creative decisions. You can disagree with a director's creative vision. You can disagree with a direction that a director has gone. But if that director cannot defend those decisions, if that filmmaker cannot come to the table and say, well, this is why we did this, and here's what we were thinking, and this is why we did this, and we connected this, this, and this, and if you think about this, you do that, like how Vince can fucking talk circles around anybody when it comes to his decisions on Friday the 13th.
Well, and Vince tested me.
Of course.
To that point, he asked questions, and he's even said, he's like, when I ask Cecil questions about things I'm confused about, he has answers as to why things are the way they are, and they make sense. And that's right. You have to have that. That's right.
And, you know, sometimes people have to understand too that and so that's important, right? Because sometimes if you don't have answers, you're like, oh, I don't know why we did that. I don't know. I guess we just didn't think of it. That's where you don't want to be as a filmmaker. Not everybody's going to agree with the creative decisions you make. Some people are like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why did she do that? Or why did they do that? Or that's kind of weird. But if the filmmaker can say, well, I can understand that, but have you thought about this? Or have you been paying attention to this? If you pay attention to that, did you think about this? Or, you know what I mean? It's all, and that doesn't mean that that's going to change the viewer's mind, but that's art, you know, that's being a creative person. And it's not about just appeasing people. It's not about giving fan service just to appease fans and get people to like you. You can't succeed in this business if all you're doing is just doing stuff to get people to like you. It's about doing what's true to you. And if you are a fan, you will inevitably do things that fans will like because you're a fan, but you have to be decisive and say, well, this is the direction I want to go. And if Bob over here is like, I don't like that direction, well, too bad. Bob, sit down and shut up. I mean, this is the way we're going, you know? I mean, that's the way it is. Because if you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. And you know, and by all accounts, I think I've read the most recent draft of the DNN script, and it's great. It's great. It's tight. It's solid. And it's no, I don't want to say that because that might give something away, but it's presented in a way that is very similar to how we're presenting ours and how, I don't want to, it's
great. So I do have something to live up to.
No. I mean that, well, I can tell you off air.
Sure. I got you.
Yeah. But it's that, you know, we're I can't say that either, but it's,
I feel where your head's at.
Yeah. And it's cool. It's cool, you know, and by all accounts, man, I mean, my hat goes off to you. I know you've been working really hard on this.
Well, the nice thing about it is because of the inherent structure of the story, we kind of get to write our own rules for how things happen, because things haven't happened quite this way in any of the previous films. Right. Obviously, New Nightmare got the closest, but we are taking what Wes built in New Nightmare and trying to expand on that particular set of ideas.
That's it.
And so, what I was going to say is the way Freddy comes about and interacts with people is entirely different in our movie compared to every other time, right? Yeah. And I can't say why, because that would be a big spoiler, but it is different. And to Dude's point, he said, I'd like to see Dave portraying the ancient evil entity from New Nightmare pretending to be its own interpretation of Freddy, different mannerisms and style, etc. Let me address that real quick. So this is the entity. This is the Freddy from New Nightmare. This is the entity that has come to like the form of Freddy. Keeping that in mind, it likes the form of Freddy. It likes the way Freddy does Freddy's things. So, you know, it might not have a whole new set of mannerisms and style because it has come to like the form of Freddy.
Right.
Our form of Freddy is different than the previous ones, you know, different enough at least to have be its kind of own incarnation. But just because he's the entity and not Freddy doesn't mean he's not going to have Freddy-ish mannerisms and styles, because again, Wes explained that it likes the form of Freddy.
Right.
And that's why it takes his form now. So just keep that in mind. He is doing, you know, Dave is doing Dave's version of Freddy. He already kind of explained numerous times across various streams that he's not intending to mimic Robert Englund. He's intending to get the essence of Freddy across on screen. Right. And that's what's the most important.
Yeah. And sometimes in doing that, by default, you will see, you know, remnants of what Robert Englund did because he was Freddy. But it's not about doing an impression of him, because, you know, then you're so focused on, did I do that right? Is my shoulder down enough? Oh, maybe it's down too high, you know, far. Did it? No, hang on. Ha ha. Oh, no. Ha ha ha. No. Ha 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 ha. No. Like, you know what I mean? And then you start, no, that's not how Robert would do it. You know, and it's like, oh, fuck, you can't worry about that. You know, you got to just bring that essence there, and let the chips fall where they may, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean,
you do. I mean, that's the thing. Like, we also don't want to be in post-production forever, right, just trying to get, oh my God, well, half the people thought Freddy spoke way too much in the trailer, which right, I tend to agree with, but half the people, or not half the people, some of the people thought it was a good interpretation. Some of the people thought it wasn't a good interpretation. Like, if we try and make sure that it's at a place where, you know, every single person is going to like it, it's never going to finish.
Well, look, and it's the same with Billy. Right? You know, when we look at the character of Billy, here's the thing, is that, you know, there will be people that will love what we do with the character. There will be people that will not like what we do with the character. Mm-hmm. But it's important to remember that this is, you know, for all intents and purposes, this is the second installment in the Black Christmas series. There's never been a sequel. There's been 2 remakes. There's never been a sequel. So this is part 2. This is the first time in history there's been a part 2 that is, you know, a real movie, you know what I mean? And so we know that we want to bring that tone and that essence of Black Christmas there, but we don't want to just make the same movie over again. We have to bring the essence of Billy there. We have to bring the Billy that you remember there, but we have to advance the narrative. We have to push the narrative forward. Now, that doesn't mean you show Billy walking down the street in broad daylight with his face shining, you know, no, but it means that you are going to see Billy in this movie in ways that maybe you've never seen him before. That doesn't mean you're going to see him, but you're going to see, you know, it's advancing the character forward, right? It's pushing the narrative forward, which is what you want to do. It's the same with Dylan's New Nightmare. This, for all intents and purposes, is the sequel to New Nightmare. So you're advancing that forward. You're pushing it forward. If you just make the same movie over again, like some of the Friday the 13th movies, you know, then it doesn't, like, you're just making the same. Well, I'll just go watch the original because the original probably did it better. You know what I mean? So it's all about taking that foundation, keeping the spirit and the essence there, but pushing it forward. You know, you got to push it forward. You have to advance the narrative. And that's a tricky thing to do because fans are very protective of their IPs. They're very protective of what they love and what they know. But I think that they would appreciate not watching the same thing over again. You know, it's not a, you know, It's Me, Billy, and Dylan's New Nightmare are not Black Christmas and New Nightmare fan films in the sense that we're just doing our version of that movie. They are actual sequels to those movies. So they have to be pushed forward in some ways. And you know, it's all about, it's a tough thing to do, but it's about being decisive, right? It's about saying, well, I'm the creator, I'm the writer, I'm a fan, this is what I want to do, and you know, and you go with it. And as long as you can defend your creative choices, then, you know, you let the chips fall where they may, you know, yeah. and some people are going to like it and some people won't. And it's like, well, okay, that's fine. You know, but you always hope more people do than don't.
Yeah, that's ultimately where you have to be mentally, but it's it's
be tough.
hard because and again, I'm there's not a lot of Freddy fan films out there.
No, there's not. It's like Black Christmas.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of eyes on it.
Yep.
I think
well,
that's
especially
a good
with
thing.
Miko attached to it.
Yeah. I think it's gonna, I don't know. It's worrying in that way. Like, here's the thing. I know I kind of picked one of the more polarizing entries into the Nightmare series to sequelize.
That's true too.
Some people love it. Some people hate it. I've found since started doing this. I see I'm in so many horror groups on Facebook. I'll see posts every now and again where one will be New Nightmare. Oh my God, I just rewatched this and I never understood how, like, I never liked it before, but oh my God, I like it so much now. I just didn't get it when I was younger or whatever. And then I'll see a whole nother post. It's like, oh, I hate this entry into the series. It's easily the worst one, blah, blah, blah. So, I chose a very polarizing entry to sequelize. So I don't know if that's going to hurt the overall eyeball number or not. Right. It is the first Freddy in a while, but it's going to force a lot of people to have to go back and watch one of the ones they didn't like very much, apparently.
Right.
So I don't know. It's kind of a weird place to be as far as that goes. You're sequelizing the best of the 3 iterations, right?
I am, but not a lot of people
sequelizing the good parts of Friday. So
that is true. That is true. And although Black Christmas itself, 74, although it's royalty sort of because of what it meant to future slasher films and how it was a big inspiration. A lot of the tropes that you see, of course, in Black Christmas were used. I mean, there's that famous, thing that Bob Clark, the director of the movie, said that he had and I don't know if John Carpenter's ever confirmed or denied this, but he even said that John Carpenter had asked if you would ever make a sequel to Black Christmas, what would you do? And Bob Clark said that, well, I'd probably set it a year later. It'd be on Halloween and Billy would escape from a mental institute. And now people have often said John Carpenter copied Bob Clark's sequel idea for Halloween. And that's not true. Even Bob Clark, who's been dead for years, has said that, I mean, what Carpenter did, the music, the mask, that's all him, you know what I mean? And people have to remember that it wasn't Carpenter's idea to set the movie on Halloween and call it Halloween. It was Irwin Yablans' idea. So I don't know if Irwin Yablans knew Bob Clark or not. I have no idea. But anyway, that's a funny kind of thing, right? But it goes to show you, the inspiration. I mean, Black Christmas was 5 years before When a Stranger Calls, which used the same sort of trope and things like that. So there's a lot of, it's royalty in the sense of its influence. It's a very influential film. But as we talked about before the show began, it's a polarizing film in the way that in my travels, you either really like it and appreciate it for what it is, or you don't like it. I think it's a boring, slow piece of garbage. And so, there are people that have reached out to me and said, listen, I don't like the original Black Christmas at all, but I supported your fan film, which is really cool because it means they believe in me, which is really cool that they would do that, support a film that's a sequel to something they don't like. That's amazing in and of itself. But it goes to show you that we have picked 2 movies that in their own ways are polarizing for different reasons.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. Now, again, ultimately quality outs, right? So if we do a good enough job, if the movie's good, whether it's a sequel to a polarizing entry or not, this is its own thing, right? People are going to judge it based on its own thing. They'll be like, there are going to be people. I know there are going to be people. I know there are going to be people that hate on
Freddy sucks. I can't fucking Robert Englund forever, baby. Robert.
Yeah, there's going to be those guys.
Yep.
There's going to be a group of people that hate on it just because it's me running it. That's, I hope, a much smaller group, but there's probably a few YouTubers.
What?
Out
People
there
hate you? No. What,
on
YouTube? No.
There's you make enemies doing this.
Everybody loves me.
Accident. Yeah, well, most people do.
No, that's not true.
But nonetheless, and then shit, where was I going with that?
You were talking about how, there are people that are not going to like this, but
So there's going to be, so people, but if the movie is a good enough, short film and self-encompassing story, which, by the way, is the first part. Like I have a feeling when we get to the end, we're going to have a lot of pissed off people, because it's going to be, possibly, it's
going to be one of those.
It's the first part. It's like, Never Hike Alone is part of a bigger thing.
Oh, so you're now revealing that, are you? It's okay.
Well, I mean, I've revealed before that it is meant to be a
part of a larger story.
Part of a larger story. Yes, it would ultimately be probably 4, maybe 5 parts total. All put together would be a full-length feature.
Right.
So this might not end in a way where everything's wrapped up with a nice little bow, Freddy's defeated and gone back into hibernation.
You should have seen, I mean, Vince, I'm sure, has told you. I can't
do that in 25, 30 minutes,
No, what I mean? And I'm sure Vince has told you about the comments he got on, Never Hike in the Snow. That's it? What the fuck? I don't. Guys, it's part of a larger, this is the prequel to the, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't.
Yeah,
I know people hate when I do that voice. That's how I picture. If the internet was a person, they'd be like this. That's the internet. If they were a person, I was just saying.
Yeah. No. So that's the thing. Like, but I feel like the movie, as it's written, I feel like it's still a pleasing movie. Like, it's got a solid beginning, middle, and end.
It's great.
And it's a good setup for a bigger story.
Well, and this is, sorry, dude, I keep interrupting you. My apologies.
You're fine.
I just, I get excited about what you're talking about.
We've done it to each other. It's okay. We don't take offense.
It's true. But to your point, right? It's like, people need to understand too, is that, and I'm not saying, I'm not calling anybody out in the chat room. I'm not talking about anybody specific. I'm just meaning in a general sense. People need to understand that, to make quality, to make a full-length feature film to the quality that you're seeing in the short runtime of It's Me, Billy, or Never Hike Alone, or whatever it is, or, Dylan's New Nightmare, you have to like triple, quadruple your budget, and it's these types of things. You're getting studio quality in small bite-sized portions because of cost. We're
still killing it on the budgetary sense. I mean, the fact that you're able to achieve what you're going to achieve with It's Me, Billy for what, 40K is what you raised?
64,000 Canadian.
Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Which is how much in US? It's like 45, something like
45 US, something like that.
So that's and that's a 40+ minute movie, right?
Yeah.
So if you doubled the length, and if you somehow managed to make another, half for the same amount of money, now you've made a Hollywood quality feature for 85 grand. Dude, that is unfucking heard of. So when I see comments like, can't you just make it longer for what you raised? It's like, bro, you have no idea what the magic tricks that we're pulling to get what we're getting. Like, it's crazy that people don't understand that.
And too, like, there's, when you do a professional shoot, when you're taking it as seriously as we did, there's production insurance, there's catering, there's hotels, there's equipment rentals, there's the rental of the location, there's actors, there's crew, there's, transportation and travel. And it's not one penny has gone unspent in terms of that. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And we're so thankful to been able to do it. But to your point, you're right. It's to be able to do what we've done, what Vince has done, what you're doing, we've had to be tight. There's certain things where we've had to be very, very conservative about, because, if we do not have the time to play. That's one of the reasons. I mean, you do this anyway. They do this at the studio level on a major motion picture, regardless of the budget. But it's one of the reasons why we said we need a shot list, because we don't have time to get to the set, which we're paying amount for the week, and to be like, to figure it out. I mean, that's why in October, a month before we drove 4 hours to the location and did a tech scout with our DP, our gaffer, and our key grip, because they wanted to see it. They didn't want to just arrive on set the day of shooting and go, okay, so what do you want to do? You know what I mean? They wanted to see the place. Where are the outlets? What's the ampage? What's the wattage? What are we looking at? Go outside. Where are the plugs? Do we need a generator? Do we not? Which we did. We had 2. So it's those types of things where, you you maximize your resources, but you gotta be so prepared, you know? And it doesn't mean that there weren't a couple of things that happened on set where we were like, oh, dude, that's not in the script, but can we shoot that anyway? We did. Yeah, there's a couple of things that sometimes happens too, right? Because it's spontaneous. But to your point, like, you're bang on, you know, with maximizing the resources of what you have to pull off magic is not easy. It's not easy, you know?
So, you know, hopefully people understand that. I mean, as more and more of these higher end fan films get made, I think people will start to understand more and more what it takes as far as budget goes. I think Vince is going to make it so that people have to, because I think the next thing I don't know for sure.
Dude, he's taking it up like
I
9
know
notches.
he has considered, I don't know that this is the plan, but
Blowing
I know
up.
he has considered, raising the remaining funds to do the rest of his films all in one shot.
All in one shot.
Rather than doing a bunch, you know, because that way they could just film everything they need to film and not have to do it numerous times over the next few years or whatever. He's thought about that. I don't know that that's, you know, I don't know what his plan actually ended up being or anything like that, but, you know, that would be, you know, $150,000, $180,000 campaign. And he raised over 100 on the last one. He was only trying to raise, I think, 50. So, you know, the budgets of these campaigns are going to start to go up, and
well, and
we'll see if the audience follows. You know, we're going to kind of be we're paving the way as far as high quality films go, but we're also starting to pave the way for campaign situations as well. We're kind of training the audience to be okay with these higher budgeted things in order to achieve the quality that they really want.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
You know,
and
it's an interesting aspect to all this.
It is. It absolutely is. And you know, it really is about, it's so much work, and it's, you know, and I know, look, the average fan, you know, doesn't know that, right? I mean, if, you know, and I'm talking about the average fan, not, you know, somebody who's film savvy or you know, is a filmmaker themselves, but it's a lot of hard work. I've seen what you guys have been doing, what Nora's been doing, and I think too that it's kind of like Santa Claus, right? Where maybe this isn't the best analogy, but it's kind of like, you know, there's the Christmas tree, there's an empty living room, you go to bed, you wake up in the morning, you walk in, and there's magic that's just there. But, you know, you don't understand, of course, we all know Santa's not real. What? Oh my God. But it's that kind of thing where it's like, but you don't know the tiresome and the painstaking shit that your parents have gone through to find what you want, to wrap the gifts, to be up at all the hours of the morning, to dance into the living room, try not to wake anybody up, settling things down, setting up stuff. And if you have a family of 4, look out, you got like 9,000 gifts, you got to go down, this kind of stuff. You just see the end result. You as the kid just see the magic. You know what I mean? So there's so much going on, as you know. There's so much. I mean, I'm on here, 2 or 3 times a week going, hey, everybody, what's going on? My name's Dave. Let's talk about movies. But when this is done, okay, that's done. Yeah, okay, you coming over? Yeah, we need to, yeah, okay, can we do, like, as soon as I'm done here, it's not like I'm like, okay, well, I'll put my feet up and watch, you know, the Cosby Show all afternoon. I don't know why I picked that, but, you know, it's, you know,
that
but
is an odd choice.
Yeah, it's a weird. but it's
comes with some baggage at this point.
Maybe it's my shirt. It's a little bit of a Cosby shirt. I don't know.
There you go.
Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, it does a little bit of a. You know, there we go again. That's it's my fucking like 9th one today. I don't know what's going on, but it's that thing where.
Any other offenders or predators you want to reference today, Dave? I mean, let's just hit them all.
Okay, I'll date myself even more. How about, you know what? It's like Three's Company. You know, it's like you just go, God, Three's Company. What's a Three's Company? Come on, knock on our door. But it's the thing where
starring the guy that was in Bride of Chucky, right? That's where he's from.
Right.
Okay.
But it's that thing where there's so much work that goes on. And when you're not a big studio and you're not outsourcing everything to so many people, it's just you and like, you know, 4 or 5 other people that are doing everything. We love it. We absolutely love it. There isn't anything else I would rather be doing than doing this shit. But it's a lot of hard work. It's not to make a movie like what Vince has done. That fucking is hard fucking work to be able to pull off the quality that he's been able to do with, you know, Friday the 13th, what you're about to do with A Nightmare on Elm Street, what we're doing with Black Christmas. I mean, it is hard work to be able to deliver something that's like that. But a lot of fans just see the end result. They just think it just, you know, they don't see the actual legwork and groundwork and being up till 4 a.m. and meetings and screenings and tweaking.
I was just gonna say, Vince literally told me before this that he didn't get back to me yesterday because he just had like 3 all-nighters helping out the Jason Rising guys.
Correct.
He's like,
that's another interesting
we
one.
went to Sunup. He's like, we went to Sunup like 3 days in a row. And it's like, yeah, like people don't even realize you're working, especially if it's something set at night, you're working all through the night. You know what I mean? Like, to get stuff done, especially on these little indie projects.
Yeah, it's me, Billy. I can tell you, because this isn't a spoiler, but I can tell you the first 2, so we shot Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we shot 6 days. It was a 6-day shoot. The first 2 days were day shoots. And then we had a 24-hour turnaround. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday were all night shoots. And when we mean night shoots, we mean night shoots. Like from, I think we went from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And it was crazy. So like a lot of the stuff that you see that's happening in the movie that's supposed to be like, 2 o'clock in the morning is actually like, 5 a.m., where we're there. And everybody, and we would have, the caterer would show up at it's so funny because we switched, like we would have breakfast at 4 p.m, dinner at like 10, 11 o'clock, or sorry, lunch at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then dinner at like 7 a.m., or 6 a.m., whatever it was. And the caterer was great. Shout out to Cafe Deluxe in Ottawa, Canada. They were fantastic, and the meals were great. And shout out to our production assistant, Emma Tooth, who was amazing at handling all that. And it was just so wonderful not have to worry about it. She was so great. Like she was the kind of PA where I'd be like, I think we need, and I didn't even know that she was in the room. And I'd be like, I think we need, I'm on it. And she would even go get it. And I'm just like, yes, yes, yes. She was amazing. Shout out to Emma, who was just great. But anyway, I digress. But you're absolutely right. It's a lot lot of legwork. I think I just spat there. Sorry if you saw that come out of my mouth.
I did it a little earlier, so it's okay. We're even.
Oh, okay. Perfect. But it's one of those things where it's a lot of hard work. You really realize, and we're doing this on a minor scale, right? Professional, right? We're all doing this professionally, but it's a minor scale. But what's interesting is that it's given me an even greater appreciation for the filmmaking process. Being boots on the ground and doing this. Of course I had it before, but being there, boots on the ground and seeing everybody and just being on set and watching our gaffer and our key grip and our grips and our DP and our first AC and our second AC and just doing what they're doing. It's not only a cool experience, it's a humbling experience, and it's an enlightening experience because we hired a professional crew. This is what they've done. They've since gone on. They've done 3 movies, 5 TV shows since It's Me, Billy. They've gone on to do other shit now, but but to watch them work and then to have them turn to us and be like, so, cause it was really cool, but it was humbling because they know their shit. And it was an eye-opening experience to watch them work. I have not that I didn't before, but an incredible respect for the filmmaking process. It's a collaborative effort. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely is, but very rewarding at the same time.
100%.
So
100%, dude. 100%. Super chat. A couple super chats came in here. Let me see if I can get them. Let me just go to, I want to make sure I don't miss them. Go over here. And of course, fucking goddamn. Are you noticing that when you go to read your super chats that they disappear from you? Are you noticing that? I can see the one here from Eobard Thon or Thon?
Yeah, Eobard Thon.
Yeah, but there's
it's an awesome viewer of both of our channels.
Oh, awesome. There's another
reference to a Flash comic.
There's another I think there was another super chat that came in, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so too.
There was one more. It's just the Rusty Lion sent in £2. Thank you very much, the Rusty Lion from across the pond. Really appreciate that. Just supporting the channel. Okay, cool. Didn't miss any others. Okay, Eobard Thon? Is it Thon? Thon, I guess.
Thon, yep.
Thon.
That's the name of the Reverse Flash in the comics.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Now I do. Sends in $10 US. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Says, appreciate you bringing Freddy back. Feel like Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't get enough love. Could not agree more. Especially in the fan film area. Will proudly put Dylan's New Nightmare Blu-ray next to my Nightmare on Elm Street box set. Same for It's Me, Billy Dave. Amazing. That's pretty
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
cool.
is an exciting thing to think that, hopefully a lot of people will have it on their shelves next to the other Nightmare movies. That it is honestly a very fulfilling thought to have. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not young. I'm not a spring chicken. So
no, you're 75.
Yep, exactly. To know that, give or take, 35 years. But
just in case people were actually thinking I'm serious.
I mean, I've
just
got the
on
hair
the off
for
chance,
it, so
just on the off chance, people thought he looks good for 75.
Yeah,
Oil Valet 10 times a day.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, go on.
But yeah, to the fact that it might be on people's shelves, and the fact that it might outlive me as a piece of art is very exciting, and it's a bit of a shortcut into being immortalized after a fashion. You know what I mean? Not having to go through the studio system and make a full-length feature, but to kind of sneak in there and get on the shelf anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Just gotta, you know what I mean? Just gotta put it there and just gotta, what's that? Oh,
all the studio Blu-rays are looking at the other one going like, what the fuck are you doing
what the
here?
fuck is that
like,
there?
Bitch,
Yeah.
I'm here. It doesn't
But
matter
you know
how
what,
I got
though?
here.
When you produce quality, when you produce a good story and people enjoy it, people will often, because people are so desperate for good quality content from the beloved properties that they love. And, you look at what, again, Vince has done. There's no Friday the 13th right now because of, a couple of lawsuits now. Elm Street is not in that realm, but it's more of a rights issue of who's going to get it, what's going to happen, how are they handling that. So it is quiet on that front right now. And Black Christmas, of course, have had 2 abysmal remakes. So, there are people that are, I know people kind of like the 06 one in a quirky sort of way, and but I'm just kind of like, but I will give credit where credit is due. It's not my cup of tea. It is crazy bonkers. That's what some people love about it, but I give credit where credit is due. It certainly isn't the same thing over again. They certainly did make it their own. And although I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 or 2, you give, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So you do give credit in that sense. Yeah, that's right. But you know what? It's like, oh, well, but I'm not, of course, they're in a general sense, they're not as well liked. So, I mean, I don't know where the fuck I was going with that now, but
someone, Sir Fassbender says, Cecil, how scary do you intend the film to be? I mean, it's going to have its parts. It's kind of like the opening 30 minutes to a film, but with, more going on than you'd necessarily get in a full length feature because it is, its own little thing. So there is going to be, I am going for the feel of the earlier movies mixed with Nightmare or New Nightmare. So it's not going to be the goofball stuff that came in 4, 5, and certainly 6. But it is, someone else asked earlier, I didn't catch the name, is Freddy going to be making quips or one-liners? So here's the thing about that. Freddy's going to have his dialogue.
Yeah.
His dialogue might make you laugh, but he's not doing it to be jokey Freddy. Right. Anything he says that makes you laugh, it's because you're uncomfortable with, like, I'll tell you the direction I gave Dave when we did the read through, and that was, these are your words, you're not intending to be jokey, you're being mean, like you're saying these things in a very mean way, and the audience is going to laugh at it. That's my approach. Freddy is very sadistic and he has lines to go along with it, but it's not goofball shit like, the ear crab, all that kind of shit. It's none of that.
Great graphics.
yeah, God almighty. And I'm not the hater of 6 that many people are.
Oh,
but I'm really not. I enjoy certain aspects to that movie quite a bit. As dumb as it is, John Doe's death on the bed of spikes, and Freddy like wheels it out and then like goes, whoo, like that. Yeah. That made me laugh. I don't know. It was so dumb, but it made me laugh. So it's none of that though. To be clear, it's none of that. But that's how Freddy has his dialogue.
Yeah. And
that dialogue may make you laugh. If it does, you have my kind of sense of humor, which is dark.
Right.
So
yeah, there's one, the only one I can remember, I won't say it obviously, but it's I can't even, I don't know how to say it without giving it away, but there's one I remember that I thought was good too. Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's see here. Let me see. Destiny Falconer says, can't wait for this. Destiny is excited, Destiny. I may be haunting your dreams. I'm just saying. Let me see here. Let me scroll up. See if Evil Alex says, Cecil, did you have an idea? Did you have an idea making it a meta film at some point where New Nightmare is also a film and Hughes plays himself and the demon comes from the film in the real world as Freddy? I think that is sort of what we're doing, isn't it? I mean,
no.
Unless I'm misunderstanding what he's saying.
That's one extra meta step.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because Miko is still playing Dylan in our movie.
Right. Of course.
So yeah, that would be too far.
Right.
We're taking what Wes did and taking it to what I believe would have been the next logical step.
Right.
That doesn't mean that Miko's going to be playing Miko.
Right.
If okay, okay. I will say no more because I almost just spoiled something that might not even be technically spoilable. So
ooh, gotta be careful.
I might have said something that's not even technically a part of the film.
Right.
Yeah,
I got
so
you.
We'll see. But yeah, I think that would just be one meta step too far.
Cool. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Yeah. Destiny says Super Freddy. That's right. Super Freddy. Yeah. Wasn't Super Freddy in Elm Street 5?
Yes.
Was that Super Freddy?
Yep. I like Super Freddy. I actually,
you were going to dress up as Super Freddy, weren't you, for Halloween or something?
I have amassed a number of pieces to that costume. I'm still way too fat to do it. I got to lose like 80 pounds to be able to pull it off. But I did get a black and white glove, a gray tone glove, and I do have the Super Freddy sweater in my size. Okay. So I can technically, like, all I would need are black pants and black boots and a hat. But the thing is, I would need a Freddy mask in hand that are painted grayscale.
Right.
So, and it would need to fit my big head, which, I'd have to have those custom made. So that would be way down the line. I'm not going to attempt that until I've lost those 80 pounds. So who knows? It may never happen, but I would love to cosplay as Super Freddy. I absolutely would love it.
So let me ask you this: what is the one thing that you are, without spoilers, obviously, what is the one thing you are, or maybe there's a couple of them that you are very most eager to about the whole process? Like, where are you as a director, as the writer? Where are you in terms of what are you most looking forward to?
So,
by the way, folks, Dylan's New Nightmare Indiegogo campaign launching on June 1st. It will run for 30 days. It is to, of course, make up the other 25% that we were not able to get first time around. Things have obviously changed and some expenses have gone up. So that extra 25% would be hugely beneficial to the production of Dylan's New Nightmare. And if all goes well, this is obviously, dependent on all things falling into place at the right time, and the borders can open up and things are okay and travel can resume, it is possible we may be shooting this at the end of September, beginning of October. So that's kind of exciting, just saying, but we don't want to speak too soon. First things first, and that's that Indiegogo campaign launching on Indiegogo June 1st. If you haven't seen the new poster, here's a new poster here, which of course will be part of the Indiegogo campaign as well. Who's the guy that did this again?
The guy that did, Jeff West.
Jeff West. Shout out to Jeff West. Great job on the poster, Jeff. Looks awesome. Okay, just wanted to mention that.
Eobard said, Freddy has always joked around in many ways. The OG Nightmare wearing a rubber face of Tina or chopping his fingers off for fun, which he did in 6. Again, him wearing Tina's
he did that in
face,
1 as well.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So that's the finger chopping, not so much. The face wearing is closer to the dark humor that I'm going to be going for.
Right.
But it is, it's stuff like that as well as dialogue. So we'll see. I think everyone's going to be happy with it, but I am trying to gear it more towards the scary Freddy for sure.
Right. The Smokies says, Dave and Cecil, hey guys, what's a good way to give Expedition, maybe exposition, you mean? But without blatantly saying something. I think it means exposition. What's a good way of giving exposition without blatantly saying something? Well, I'll say this, and I'll let Cecil add his 2 thoughts. I think it's important that when
2 thoughts now?
Oh, okay, 6.
Jesus. Oh, you mean you were going for like your 2 cents? Okay, I got you.
2 cents is what I meant. 2 cents, 2 thoughts. What am I? 2 cents? No, we'll stop there.
Yeah, that's just a honk. You just get a honk for that one. All right, sorry. Again, I interrupt you too. See?
No, it's okay. It's all right. It's cool. It's cool. Well, I would say for us, because we do have exposition in It's Me, Billy. Obviously, it's a film that takes place 50 years later, so there's some catching up that needs to be done. I think it's important whenever you are delivering exposition, and you are in a position where you are either unable to show instead of telling, or for whatever reason, or to do your best to it's all okay. For me, it's all about a number of things. It's about character motivation. Why are these characters having this conversation is one. So it doesn't feel like they're just turning to the camera and saying, oh, by the way, in case you didn't know. Is it motivated by the characters? Does the motivation feel authentic and genuine to be having this conversation right now? What's the motivation to be having this? Number 2 is to do your best to have your characters maybe doing something while they're having that conversation. So maybe it's over dinner, maybe it's going for a walk, maybe, whatever the case is. So they're not just standing there in the middle of a room, just sort of talking back and forth with each other. Again, but that also comes down to motivation, right? Mm-hmm. So it's important that exposition's a fine line. It can, and sometimes those types of conversations where you're delivering exposition in a way that feels authentic with the characters doing something, it comes across as real, as genuine. You believe it. It's like you're the third or fourth or fifth person there that just happens to be standing there listening to the conversation. Mm-hmm. It's about character motivation, and do I believe that these characters are having this conversation right now based on how they're feeling, the motivation of why they're having it. It doesn't feel like they've stopped and are just reciting, oh my God, so that means. It's nothing like that. It's more about the dialogue that's being exchanged in terms of, does it feel authentic in terms of their motivations, and are they doing something? They don't always have to be doing something, but sometimes it helps for them to be doing something while they're having that conversation. Cecil?
I would say creativity is what's the most key here. I mean, naturalism is obviously everything that Dave just said obviously applies, but creativity can make the world of difference as far as exposition goes. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's certain people that do exposition in such crazy, insane ways, like Edgar Wright. Right. Like his exposition is all part of his filmmaking and storytelling, like all of it. But there is bits of exposition in like words and stuff like that you don't necessarily pick up on, but it is, telling you stuff.
Right. Yep.
And then there's also, if you're stuck in a situation where you kind of have to explain what's going on in the typical dialogue way, you try and get creative with it, right? Like if you have to get it across, trying to come up with a thing that's not too close to what I'm doing in DNN. But so for instance, if someone, your main character has to get across something to the audience about what they're doing, and so they have to make a call, right? So they have to call someone that is normally very aware of their situation, right? But for some reason, someone new picks up the phone and takes the call. And so now your character has to explain what's going on. And even your character can be annoyed by it. And be like, oh, I'm calling because this and this happened and this and this and this. Right. And now you've done it, but your character has been annoyed by it as well. Because that
comes down to character motivation. What would be his motivation to recite it at that moment? And he's got the wrong person.
Right. But again, that's a way to do it in at least a more creative way.
Correct.
It's still not that creative, but it's
no. I get it.
more creative. You know
I
what
get
I mean?
it. Yeah.
So creativity in coming up with your scenario for exposition dump, which is unfortunately the word that usually follows exposition is dump.
That's right. No, it's you're bang on, and you know we face that with It's Me, Billy. You know, because we have a movie that has never had a sequel. It's 50 years later. You know what I mean? So we face that is how do we bring the audience up to speed in a way that doesn't feel like they're having an exposition dump necessarily. And for us, it was all about, we were tackling character development and exposition at the same time to be able to sort of make you care about these characters. So you're learning about the characters at the same time as you're learning about exposition, you know, or, you know, what's sort of been happening. And you're seeing the camaraderie between the characters and, you know, the chemistry between them, you know, as well. And it's a tough thing to do. It's a fine line, but I with our film, I think we achieved it. I think we did a solid, commendable job at tackling those birds and trying to sort of, you know, put it in there and make you feel like you are a part of the group, like you're the fourth girl, you know, or something
I
like
would
that.
feel like the more straightforward approach would be just fine, right? Because you're bringing the characters back after fucking 50 years. Well, not even bringing characters back; they're new characters.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be people within this group that don't know the whole story anyway, especially if your main character is reticent to discuss such crazy things. So the exposition in a film like yours really just comes off to me as more storytelling rather than
that's what it is. Yeah, exactly. And it's more about, again, where is Sam, right? Where is she emotionally at this point? Where are her friends? What is the relationship between her and her friends? How much do they know? Do they know anything? How much of what they know do they know? And so what would be the conversations that they would have? Why are they where they are? Why have they been brought to where they are, right? You know what I mean? Now, the synopsis is not a spoiler. I think I know the synopsis off the top of my head. It says, oh geez, what is the synopsis? Let me just, I don't know it off the top of my head. I thought I did. Let me just quickly try to find it here. Hang on a sec here. Cause it's to your point. It's a good point. So yeah, the synopsis for is unaware of the danger that's hunting her, Sam and her two best friends are spending Christmas Eve at her grandmother's old country mansion. Stalked by a sinister evil that's been lurking in the shadows for nearly 50 years, Sam is about to come face to face with her grandmother's chilling Christmas past, the deranged psychopath known only as Billy. So again, you know, it's all about discovering those little nuances and details through that. And with a film like this, yeah, we were able to play it, but it's still important that we wanted it to feel real and through character motivation. Like we didn't just want the characters to be standing outside, you know, just suddenly engaging in a deep conversation for no reason. Do you know what I mean? It's all about why would they be doing this? Is there something our character's going through that we don't know about? Is there something that the friend notices? Or you know what I mean? It's all about that discovery. And I think we've done a good job with that. I think we're doing a good job. I'm trying to dance around spoilers.
Yeah. The very best way to handle exposition is to avoid it if you can and show instead of tell.
Correct. Yep, 100%. And but if you can't, for budgetary reasons or you know, for whatever the case is, do exactly what Cecil says. Try to find creative ways to you know, get the exposition out there and make sure that when your characters are relaying exposition, the motivation for them to be saying what they're saying feels legit. It feels real. It doesn't feel like they're just dumping it. It makes sense of why they would be having this conversation right now.
You just
reminded
me. Yeah, I have my other full-length feature that I would love to get going if we get enough heat after the Dylan series. Is I do have a big exposition dump in the middle of the movie where I explain the bad guy's backstory, but the whole scenario as to how they're there and why it comes up and why it's explained and how it's cut short all makes it work. Right. So yeah, sometimes you have no choice but to literally have people sit around and listen to another person tell the story. But if you do it like it's a story being told, and if it's appropriate, for the timing of the film, then it can work. It can work.
Yep. Absolutely.
I do want to address, because Evil Alex has asked this a number of times.
Sure.
Cecil, would you make a Freddy versus Jason fan film with Vince? And Dave, would you be in it for playing Freddy again? Well, as far as I'm concerned, unless Dave does something drastically terrible on set or any other thing like that, I don't see a reason why I would want to move on to another Freddy. I mean, Dave has a while before he ages out, I think.
So. I'll be 42 next week, but
But as far as that goes, all I'll say, I'm not saying there's no plans for it.
Yeah.
But Vince has acknowledged that Neverhike and New DNN could technically exist in the same universe. Yeah. So we shall see what happens as far as that goes. It would be fun to do if we ever did do one. But it wouldn't be until after all of Dylan and after all of his Neverhike stuff. So that would, and then
I get to yell out, "Why won't you die?"
Yeah, exactly. As long as we get your head winking at the end, then we're
that's it. And leaping out of the water.
Right. And then there was a super chat directed at me.
Yes, Harry Hagen sends in $4.99, says, Cecil, was there ever a thought about getting Kincaid and Joey and doing a spin-off of Dream Warriors, since Dream Warriors is considered the fan fave?
Well, but then you'd be doing the whole ignoring the continuity of the rest, because they both die in 4.
It's true.
I have considered utilizing them in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
It wouldn't be in this first installment. It might not be at all, but I have thought about how I could involve some of the past players from the films. And one of the ways is actually, it's a really fun idea. Like, I have a particular, Dylan's New Nightmare is on a particular set of train tracks.
Yes.
If something, how can I put this? If something doesn't happen after we've completed it in order to tag up at the end, then we might need to switch the tracks and go on a different route.
Right.
This first part can be a good on-ramp to either set of tracks. I would much, much, much prefer this one.
Yes.
But if it doesn't work out, then this story would be a lot of fun and a lot of people would really enjoy watching it. I still don't know that this is the one we would do if this one doesn't work out, but it's the most fully fleshed out idea if this one doesn't work out so far. Right. And that would involve some of the past players. So
right. Yeah, no, it's and I know what you're talking about, and it would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool indeed if you're able to actually, I won't say anymore, but yeah, we'll see. Let's see here. Let me just go up here and see if we can keep it on target here.
Savini Jason, that would be no contest. Sorry.
Savini Jason?
Yeah, he says, hey, Cecil, did you ever think of having a Freddy versus Michael? And that's not even a contest. Freddy would whoop his ass.
Freddy versus Michael. Yeah. Well, he would just get him in his dreams. Michael's got to sleep sometime. Mm-hmm. Oliver Mercer says, can we get the Dylan DVD purchases from your Indiegogo, or have you opened it up again yet? Maybe a better question would be, are you going to open that back up?
Well, yeah, Blu-rays and DVDs will be a part of the new campaign. So,
new campaign.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone that missed the first time will have their chance on June 1st to
awesome.
To start. Pardon me. I hope that, again, I intend for it to be in demand for a while if we pass our goals. So hopefully people can jump on, a few months down the line and get Blu-rays and DVDs at that point as well. But yes, officially June 1st, you'll have another opportunity to get in on that ground floor.
Very cool. Very cool indeed. Let me see here. Dude says the transition from Dylan lifting his feet up from the end of the bed to the playground and Heather and John talking and then God wouldn't take me is so well done. Mm-hmm. I don't remember that scene for some reason. I gotta watch.
Yeah, that's when he climbs to the top of the rocket and tries to reach.
Oh, right.
And then falls off. Yeah.
Right.
Says God wouldn't take me.
Yes. Corey Dean says, I honestly believe fan films will take over within the next decade. don't know about that, but maybe something. I think it would be really cool if studios. This would be really cool if studios don't turn to, filmmakers like us and say, "Hey, that was really good.
We're calling you up.
We're calling you up." If they don't do that, then somebody somewhere has got to be able to say, we might be able to exploit this. I mean, let's be honest, it's business. Maybe it becomes part of just and I don't mean all fan films. I mean like legit studio looking professional movies. Maybe there's a way of utilizing that. They go, I wonder if we could end, these types of things end up as like a little add-on on a Blu-ray or a 4K, or they end up as like a little, thing that it's not official, but it's studio approved.
That's
right?
Literally what I was thinking, like the Marvel shorts they were putting on the Blu-rays that were coming out.
Right. Maybe it's something like that where they go, and they pay us. They pay us, and they not only pay us for what we've already done, they pay us to do more, and they say, hey, do this. And then eventually that, obviously nobody just wants to make fan films their whole lives, obviously, but eventually maybe that does lead to other things and a relationship, because obviously a lot of this business is about forging and solid connections and relationships, and maybe it becomes a thing. But to you, and again, I don't mean any disrespect when I say not all fan films. I'm talking about fan films that are, that are, actual films, and they might be able to see that as an opportunity to use it as a little bit of an add-on, as something, and help promote it, right? Help promote their, their work and things like that. So no longer would you need the disclaimer saying this has nothing to do with, please don't sue us. It can be approved, and now we wouldn't be able to necessarily reap. Well, it would all depend on what sort of contract would be involved in something like that. But, maybe they see it as an advantage instead of using it. Maybe there are rules like, okay, it can't be over, 30 minutes. It can't be, you have a budget of this, amount, or you can't, because certainly I could understand when you are dishing out the quality that we're doing and we're about to do. I can understand that if it was a full-length feature film, why studios would be like, well, I don't want people to confuse this for the real thing. As I get that. But if there was a way to utilize what we're doing, let's be honest. I mean, if they can figure out a way to make money from it, they probably would. But right now they and for the law, and again, I mean, no disrespect when I say this, but the vast majority of fan films are not studio caliber. They're home movies in your backyards with your friends. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying every fan film, and I'm not saying every fan film that's not shot on the Red or the Airy is like that either. I'm not saying that. There's some great fan films that look great shot on fucking,
iPhones.
Yeah, or DSLRs, whatever. But there is a significant difference when you do make that switch and you notice it. But having said that, again, it's that connotation, right? It's that idea of, it's this, it's this, and maybe we're able to maybe change the game a bit and just say, hey, we're not, we're serious about this. Is this something that, who knows? I don't know, Cecil, what do you think?
I wasn't paying attention. I was
I heard that one. I was distracted by the comments. Sorry. Specifically, what was the question? Did he hang up on me?
It was about that idea about utilizing fan films in a way as an add-on or some sort of like.
Yeah, I did actually have a follow-up thought on that. Yeah. So I think that it's just another thing that studios are going to be slow to assimilate, like streaming. Right. I think they don't see the benefits that it could provide to them yet, but I think they're starting to see that it's keeping their characters alive in the meantime.
Right.
So I think that eventually they'll come around to it and start to try and incorporate it somehow. Right. Again, whether that's calling the filmmakers up to the big leagues, so to speak, or in, you know, just including the films on Blu-rays as special features.
Right.
You know, that's a thing. Like, if they put out what is largely considered a subpar entry into a series, I'll use the example from the comments here. Savini Jason asked about a Saw fan film. I don't think either of us would ever do that. And someone said Spiral is essentially a Saw fan film. You know, that
from a certain point of view.
Yeah. I mean, that's not, so it's not unheard of that the studios would call people up to do that kind of thing. Obviously, Darren Lynn Bousman has been, you know, he did Saw 2 through 4, so that's not what happened with him. But, you know, people with stories outside of the main continuity of writers in Hollywood that are putting together these things over the years.
Look at Lights Out.
Yeah. Well, Lights Out and
David Sandberg.
Come Play. Yeah. Come Play was a short film on YouTube as well that then got made into a full-length feature. It happens, and if you display enough talent in what you're doing, then I think you know, I don't think it's unheard of that people would that the studios would eventually pull their heads out of their butts and start to incorporate us in some way, shape, or form. You know, it's not any different, frankly. We're just the next decade's J.J. Abrams and David Sandbergs and all those guys that grew up as fans of all these things that they're now revolutionizing. You know, there's no reason why fan filmmakers couldn't be considered in the same, you know, horror fan filmmakers especially couldn't be considered in the same way. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, there's a lot of talent out there, and talent winning, you know, it gets noticed. And that was one of the things that myself and Bruce said when we approached this. You know, we said, look, whether people like the movie or not, or agree with the creative decisions we've made or not, again, as I always say, that's out of our hands, right? We can only do what we do. We believe in, you know, what we've done, but we approached it in the way, and the marketing in a way that, you know, we said consciously to each other, we want to roll out something that is, so it can't be ignored, you know, that people look at and go, oh, that's what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? We mean business. And in this business, you know, you got to do that. You need to stand out. You need to up it and stand out. And because, or you're just going to blend in with the other 9 million fan films that are out there. And again, I don't mean any, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a difference between those who just want to do that for fun and those who want to take it to the next level because they're serious about it. And you're right. I agree with everything that you've said. I think I think this will, you know, it'll, and the more that we make, the more that other people are doing this, you know, a rising tide raises all ships, man. And I think I can't wait to be a part of this project. I'm excited about this, and to go toe to toe with Miko Hughes, and to be the only other Freddy in a, I mean, again, there are other Freddys that have been in other fan films, but at this level, in this way, with a Nightmare alum, as far as I know, I think I'm the only one to do it. And that's exciting. You know, it's a lot of pressure, but it's the good kind of pressure. It's fun. It's like, yeah, let's fucking do this. Let's knock this fucking thing out of the park.
If we're going to do this, let's put some stakes behind it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. 100%. Because then what's the point? You know, you want to stand out, you know?
That's why it took us so long to try and mount anything. I didn't want to be another, you know, just another face in the crowd.
Yeah,
I want to be, and look, this might sound shitty. This might sound conceited or whatever. I don't want to be facing the crowd. I want to be on the podium. You know what I mean? I want to be on the 1, 2, 3 spot.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you know, something that has helped to again elevate the subgenre as opposed to just being another part of it.
That's right. Exactly. 100%. And you know what? Anybody who knocks you down, so you know what? You get one shot at this in terms of, you know, this life. And it's like, yeah, this is what we're doing. You know, don't be a hater. You want to go out and fucking do it. You know, well, you can do it too. Go out there and do it.
Good example right there. J.J. Abrams is a hack. He's a super fucking successful hack if he's a hack.
Well, personally, I'm a Abrams fan. Now, when I say I'm a fan, I don't mean he's like, you know, God's gift to the, you know, the industry or anything, but I think he's extraordinarily talented. And I think I do like his, you know, I don't think he's the hack everybody says, you know, you would like to say he is. I think that's just a fun thing to say. I disagree, although I respect your.
I think people saying someone is hacky at this point.
Yeah. But he's successful. He knows his shit. He knows his craft. And he came up through the ranks like that, not making fan films, but certainly through that, through that way. And yes, he had connections. Obviously, he was editing Spielberg's home movies when he was like 16. So yeah, I guess that helps, but certainly it's a lot of fun, and you make stuff where you can't be ignored. That's what you do, and that's what we're doing. And so it's exciting. Anyway, dude, any last things you want to say here before we call it a day?
Let me just answer this because Chester's asked it like 30 times. What's your favorite Halloween movie intro and Halloween movies? Halloween 1. I mean, I'm not the biggest Michael Myers fan, so Halloween 1 is always going to be the best for me. So
I would say so.
Figured I'd give him the answer after all this time.
Yeah, Halloween 1, Halloween 2 as well. I like, the pumpkin opens up and you see the skull. It's kind of cool.
I actually kind of like the intro of the last one. Where the pumpkin blew back up, right? And that it just went in reverse. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool too.
It's pretty cool. Yeah,
so
definitely pretty cool. So any last things you want to say?
No, thank you for having me on, Dave, and everyone that's interested. Thank you ahead of time for supporting the new. Well, thank you for supporting the first campaign if you did.
Yes.
Thank you for supporting the movie at all if you have by sharing anything or whatever. And even if you're excited, thank you for that. But thank you in advance to anyone that chooses to back the new campaign as well to try and help us get it filmed sooner than later and bump up the quality as much as we possibly can. So thank you to any of your audience that plans to do that.
For sure. Yeah. And thank you as well. I mean, I'm not a producer on the project, but being in it, I certainly can say thank you for doing that. I mean, I really want to play this role and we really want to do this. So any little bit obviously helps. And that's the Dylan's New Nightmare new Indiegogo campaign launching June the 1st, which is a Tuesday, I believe. Is it not a Tuesday?
I believe so.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, I know this because obviously our film releases on the Friday. Tuesday, June 1st. Look for a new Dylan's New Nightmare 30-day, I was about to say 30-second, 30-day campaign. And again, every little bit helps, folks. Every little bit helps. Cecil, where can people find you? On YouTube, I know it's The Horror Show. On Twitter, it is...
We're at Horror Show 666 on Twitter, The Horror Show 666 on Instagram, and The Horror Show channel on Facebook and YouTube. So yeah, we actually just relaunched the channel this month.
Yes,
so we're putting out less content, but much higher quality content. So we're throwing in clips and upping the production value and just doing more of our tier list rankings, which people seem to really like. So yeah, a lot of that has started, including a Welcome to the Horror Show music video, or a lyric video rather, that went up.
By the way, I love that song.
It was fun,
fucking
right?
love it. It was great. It's got a great hook, great chorus.
Yeah, I really dug it too. So I had fun making that lyric video. So yeah, going forward, it's going to be, the high quality horror show content, at least 3 days a week. Tuesday is Hail to Stephen King, and then our main episode on Friday, and either a live stream or a second episode on Sunday. So that's what we're doing right now.
Awesome. Amazing. Cecil, thank you very much. Stick around. We'll have a proper goodbye in a moment.
All right.
And folks, that'll do it for us. And you know where to find me. All my fucking links are all over the place. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. And Cecil and I will talk to you soon. Alrighty. Cheers.
Bye.